right, Indonesia, how are you doing today? ¿Dónde estás?
¿Cómo estamos?
¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, súper bien, requete bien. Aloha. Inámica.
¡Wow! ¡Qué gran video! ¿Cómo están? Muy buenas noches, muy buenas tardes, muy buenos días en otras partes del mundo. Estoy feliz de estar acá hoy día abriendo este gran seminario que nos ha sorprendido a todos estos días. Los equipos están felices y te voy a contar un poquito más de mí y vamos a hablar también un poquito de los temas que vamos ahora a abordar. Mi nombre es Macarena Silva, soy chilena, soy periodista y soy mamá de 2 niñitas y tengo mucho que ver con el tema de hoy día porque soy una mujer persistente por naturaleza. He tenido 3 empleos, fui trabajadora independiente y empresaria y en ese entonces se me habló de este negocio maravilloso llamado Nuskin y me quedé acá por 3 simples razones. Soy una mujer libre ante todo, amo la libertad, no hay nadie que me la pueda quitar y me pareció increíble encontrar un negocio que me entregara todos esos aspectos. Acá encontré un ingreso sin techo tremendamente justo, porque según el trabajo que hagamos y según la inteligencia que pongamos en nuestro empleo, podemos crecer y nadie nos va a decir hasta aquí nomás llega tu crecimiento. Y lo que más me gusta de esto es que esto es un verdadero regalo, como muchas veces lo ha hablado Alan, que podemos compartir con todo el mundo.
Sorry, can you do that one more time in English? Because my Koreans and my
Okay.
my Vietnamese cannot translate from Spanish.
Okay. Bueno, paciencia, a little bit patient. The English is not my first language, so I'm going to try my best, okay? I'm Maca Silva, I'm from Chile, I'm almost 42 years. I'm a journalist and I'm a mom of 2 beautiful girls. I married about 14 years ago and I'm persistent by nature. Yes, that it's one of my proudest things that I have because it has to be a lot of the topic of today. I had three employees. I was a worker, hard worker. I was an independent, and then I was a entrepreneur. And when I have that work, somebody told me about New Skin, and I stayed here 6 years before because here I have freedom. For me, freedom is very, very important. I have incomes without limits. And the best thing for me is that I can share the gift with everyone. And that's perfect. And that's the most beautiful thing about this business. I have been here from 6 years. And as Alan told us in the previous days, I took advantage of a very difficult moment in the world scenario. During the pandemic, I took a difficulty as an opportunity, and I went with all my strength. And it was a beautiful year because in 8 months, I went through Lapis to Team Elite Platinum 4. That I did it in 8 months? No, I did it in 6 years. In that time, I was very prepared because of my persistence, because of all the work that I did before. So this is a very important topic that Alan is going to cover today, because the persistence is one of the things that I think it defines my way here in New Skin. I have a lot of patience, and as Alan said, the patience is very important to be persistent. I always knew that I wanted to be a team elite, but I knew also that that wish has a price. And that was the persistence. I had very good times. I had very bad times. And through those mountains, I was defined. I defined my personality in this business, and I'm very grateful for that. And if your story is not your story is not a good story if it's plain, right? Your story can be more richer if you have a lot of obstacles, and of course, if you have the mindset to know that it is a part of the life, and you can be more richer if you have those obstacles in your library, in your books of your mind and your heart. So I love my faults. I love my bad times. I love the trips that I lose. For example, I always say that I love the goals that didn't achieve, because they gave me a lot of strength right now, and they teach me so much. So my story is a lot of related to that, and this is a business for brave people. For people that understand that this is a marathon, that you have to resist with all your heart, but with all your mindset and your love. And if you have that in your heart, you can be prepared for the best for your team elite, for example. And the mindset is the most important thing and related to persistence. When I was in a huge moment, it was about my mindset and my mastermind. I had very good masterminds here. I had very good friends, and the energy that we shared is what only related about love, strength, velocity, and we didn't hurt anyone else. We were so focused on that we became an attraction for all the people. And those moments were very clue in our story, because a lot of people wanted to work with us because the energy that we attract. So be very careful about the people that you've heard. Be very careful about the people that you see. Be very careful about the people that you want to choose. Today, I'm a totally different person. The people that I used to frequent, they are not so fun for me right now. I try to be related with people better than me. That's why I pursue Alan, for example, all the time. I'm his nightmare. No, but I'm joking. But that's why I want to be with people in a very high level. And that's my best advice for you, to do that, to look people that can give you something and you can give them something, and to be in a very good mood, because if you become in those kind of people with that energy, your business is going to run very fast. So now is the time to present my dear Alan. Alan is our mentor. It's the greatest man in the world. I love you so much, Alan. He's a Team Elite Platinum 4-star, the highest title in this company for so many years. For more than 16 years, I think. He's in the circle 3 of excellence, which is so difficult to achieve. He's the second generation of Napoleon Hill, which is the author of all the book that we are talking about. And for me, is the best person in the world. He has been so nice with me all the time. And the last time that he came to Chile, in 4 days, he changed my life. So, Alan, I love you so much. Thank you for all the energy and the knowledge that you are giving to us. We are so in love with you, and we are so impatient to learn all the topics that you have today for us. Thank you so much.
Wow, I love Maca so much too. It's a mutual relationship, I think, of respect and love, and she has incredible skills in journalism, and so communication. It's been like amazing to watch her presentations and things. So I thank you for that, Maca. I am, I'm so excited about this topic about persistence and mastermind, because they're so related. In fact, yesterday's topic about decision and organized planning is so related as well. I mean, these topics accidentally, I'll say accidentally, ended up together, and I'm realizing, like, for example, in decision, you had that very specialized knowledge, you have the general knowledge, and then you have this idea of having a knowledge of imagination. And that is like a powerful knowledge of creativity, the creative mind. And we covered that all together. But yesterday I felt we went a little, like, so much in the brain. I was going crazy by the end. And I really want to adjust today with a little shorter way of presenting, but more with the meat. And I'm going to give you the meat right now. I mean, no kidding. Persistence and mastermind. I remember when I had my definite purpose in life statement. I was going to Japan and I was going to sell 1 million yo-yos. That was my statement. I didn't know how, but I had enough success with Think and Grow Rich by then that I kind of knew this works. I kind of knew it works, but you don't really, every step along the path, as you go mountaintop to mountaintop, there's more to learn. That's the process. And so I really didn't know all of it. And so, I went off to Japan with a very crazy idea. I'm going to sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan. And I created that yo-yo system, the karate yo-yo system, and it was so effective in Hawaii. I felt very confident that we could bring this to another country and launch it. So the system was 10 tricks, became white belt, 10 more tricks, yellow, green, eventually black belt. Well, what happened for me was I was going, basically door to door, but these are buildings in Japan. They're skyscrapers. They are, Bandai Toys or Bandai Toys and Sakura Toys and Takara Toys and all of these huge Nintendo, Tomy, these are all brands of Japanese toys. And in those days, I mean, we didn't have the internet yet. This is the bad news. I mean, we had to go through phone books to find telephone numbers of companies. So we'd be in the library looking at a Japan phone book to find phone numbers. This is before the internet. I mean, so 1996 or 1995, 96. So it was very difficult finding phone numbers, making contacts with people. And I was sending faxes. This is before email. So give you a time frame of this. And so I was sending faxes over and hoping to get meetings with these big companies. And we'd be sitting in the meetings, and during the meeting, about 20 minutes in, we're showing our yo-yos, showing all of the things, our karate system. And literally at one point, the president would look over at my translator and say, "You didn't tell him? You didn't tell him? We don't buy toys from America. We sell toys to America." And the translator would look at me and translate that a few times. After a while, I could understand those words in Japanese language because I heard them so often. And I was like, oh my gosh, But luckily, most of the Japanese managers, and actually these were the presidents of the companies most of the time, were quite polite. And they sit there and listen to the rest of my presentation, like 20 more minutes. And I'd be explaining our karate yo-yo system and white belt, and we'd bring up our kids and show them the tricks. And we were trying to explain what this was all about. And lo and behold, every time they would say the same words: "We don't buy toys from America, we sell toys to America." The interpreter got to the point where he'd look at me and I say, "Yeah, no need to, interpret that. I understood what they just said." What gives you the strength to keep on going when everything says no? How do you keep on going? And at this point, I was spending a lot of money, about $10,000 to $15,000 per trip, and I was doing it every month. And these trips were with an interpreter, $250 a day in that time was a lot of money. But hotels, maybe you don't understand this about Japan, but when you sleep in a hotel room with 4 people, you pay 4 times the amount of money. You pay per person and meals and all of that. We had a stipend, we had everything, we had to pay for everything. So I was spending a lot of money and I didn't have a lot of money. And so in the end, I was quite stressed out trying to make this idea work. And, finally, I got a pretty big appointment. It was an appointment to Harajuku Kiddieland. If anybody knows Japan, this is the style area or the hippie area of Japan. Kiddieland, one of the best toy shops in that area. We walked in with my sound system, with our kids behind me, the interpreter, and I got into the room, walked up to the manager, and I said to the manager, "We're here to do a yo-yo demonstration today." And the manager looked really like angry and just looked at me, arms folded, and said, "No." And I said, "Yeah, I look at the schedule." I took out the schedule. See, today, Harajuku Kiddieland, that's you. We were here to do a free demo for your shop. And he just looked at me, no smile on his face. No. Out. And in less than a minute, we were on the street. And I thought, man, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make this work? And finally, I got to, thinking, okay, we got to do something. I can't spend, over $1,000 a day and do nothing all day. We got to figure out something. So I said, let's go and do a demonstration on the street. And in Japan, there is Shinjuku. This is an area where all of the buildings have large televisions on the buildings, and people are going between train stations, walking on the street. There's a lot of traffic. So we set up our sound system on the street. We set up our demonstrators. We had the top players over there playing. We had, adult players playing and some of our kids. And as we were playing, people just walking straight past us, not even looking. We couldn't even get a yo-yo on anybody's finger. Suddenly, behind me, I hear this noise, and it's a terrible sound. It's like, "Ah, ah, ah." And I'm like, what was that? And I kind of slowly turn my head back, and I'm looking, and I see this homeless bum on the street just sitting there with his little can in front of him. And he's like, "Ah, ah, ah." And I know what he means. Get off of my street. You're blocking my can. I know what he's saying. And so, we're looking at him and like, oh my gosh. And we pack up and we start moving off to the sidewalk. But by the time I got to the sidewalk, my mind was going crazy. All of the negative thoughts, spending all of this money, having, spent tens of thousands of dollars, probably like $60,000 already. And it was a lot of financial pressure. And we weren't making a lot of sales. I was making a few $100s a month, and I was spending thousands, like $10,000, $15,000 a month just being there. And I was like, oh my gosh. And suddenly all of those voices came back to my head. We don't buy toys from America. We sell toys to America. Over and over and over, all of those things were going through my head, and I was broken. I was broken. My belief, I was doing my statement and self-confidence formula every day, But even then, I was completely broken. And I was like, I got to the corner. I could barely talk. I was trying to tell my team to go back to the hotel and have a good dinner, but I sounded more like, barely get a word out of my mouth. And I was feeling terrible. Finally, they left for the hotel. And I was thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Finally, I said, you know what? I got to call my mastermind. And this is before cell phones. I mean, so this is an international grade phone booth in Japan. That's what it was. I had to go find it, walked over there, and then I'm like talking to my mastermind now on the phone. The bum on the street kicked me off the street. My mastermind is going, what? Who is this? The bum on the street kicked me off the street. I don't know what I'm doing here. What a stupid idea. What makes me think I can sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan? And, you know, on the other side of the phone, you hear this. Alan, is that you? Is that you? Doesn't sound like you. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. Well, Alan, I think you better do your statement. Your decreto, your definite purpose in life statement. I said, are you crazy? You think I can do that right now? I cannot. I said, no, you need to do it now, Alan. You need to do it now. My mastermind was telling me to do it, and we have an agreement. And if they say, I have to. If they say to do something, I have to do it. It's an agreement. And so I'm taking all my energy. They say, come on, you need to say it right now. Say it. And I'm like, I'm going to sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan. And they say it again. I'm going to sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan. Say it again. I'm going to sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan. Say it again. Again. They're yelling at me now through the phone. Again. I'm going to sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan. Again. And every time I said it, the emotion, all of the frustration, all of the anger, all of the rejection, all of the difficulties, all of the things like, what a stupid idea, even that, all of that energy started coming into my voice. And now I started to say this with all my energy. I'm like, I'm going to sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan. And I'm going like crazy. And in this time, I could feel the heat inside of me burning. All of the difficult stress and all of the times when I was told no, and all of those, all of the presidents that said, we don't buy toys from America, we sell toys to America. All of that rejection came out in energy to build my definite purpose in life statement. And now I'm walking. There was a park right near Shinjuku. There's a big park. And I'm now yelling this statement out loud by myself. I'm just yelling it, shaking my arms. The crickets in the trees stopped cricketing. The people walking through me literally probably were thinking there's a crazy man in the park talking to himself. We got to get out of here. And they literally walked across 6 lanes of traffic to get to the other sidewalk and walk past me. I didn't care. I was just doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And my dream came back to me. And I tell you this because there is a power in the mastermind. There is a power in persistence. You can turn all of your difficulties into power. And there is strength in that. And that's what happened for me. I mean, I don't have the pictures for my PowerPoint today on this one, but, you know, in Japan, we sold, you know, over 1 million yo-yos a month. My goal was to sell 1 million yo-yos. We ended up selling over 10.5 million yo-yos, over 1 million yo-yos a month. I made $1 commission per yo-yo, $10.5 million, 1.2 to 1.4 million dollars a month commissions for yo-yos. But we also made money on string. I mean, that's a whole nother story, but it's amazing the power of mastermind and the power of this philosophy. And I'm going to, you know, I'm going to be sharing screen and sharing you some of the analytics behind this, but I got to tell you that you have to experience it. That's the key. That's the power. The power is in the experience. And so you become more and more, your ability becomes more and more stronger. Oops, wrong page here. So this chapter of persistence, let me turn on the screen here. This chapter on persistence is absolutely linked to all of the chapters we did before. It's absolutely linked. In fact, Napoleon Hill says, if you don't believe that you possess persistence, go back to autosuggestion and read it every day for 30 days. Go back and read autosuggestion, and you'll understand that you can develop the ultimate level of persistence that you need to get anything you want. This is something you can grow. This is something you can get stronger. And how do you develop this persistence? A definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. A definite plan expressed in continuous action. Do not let the sun set without taking a step towards your goal. A mind closed tightly against negative and discouraging influences. I'm probably the least informed guy for COVID. I mean, all through the 3 years, I did not even look at the news. I mean, Facebook maybe once a week for a few minutes, and then I'd shut it off. I mean, it's important what you allow. Your mind is, your conscious mind is a vanguard to guard yourself from any negative inputs. And you have to choose correctly. A friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage one to follow through with both plans and purpose. The mastermind alliance. So we have this persistence is essential in transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent. The basis of persistence is the power of will. So we're going to take this maybe even weak power of will and make it into a massive strength. And this emotion, like I talked about, is what builds that power. The final proof of greatness lies in being able to endure criticism without resentment. So you have to actually allow the criticism, like water on a duck's back, to go past you. And maybe some of you, if you're a leader, you will know what I'm talking about. This is not easy for a leader to take criticism. You know, whenever things don't go well, they always blame the system or the leader. And the leader gets like terribly criticized. And you just have to decide to allow this criticism to go past you without resentment. Often, those that criticize others reveal what he himself lacks. So, my mentor always said, when you point your finger out at somebody, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. So you're really, look at that, those with glass houses shouldn't cast stones is another way of saying that. It's really the idea. Instead of spending our lives running towards our dreams, we often running away from a fear of failure or fear of criticism, right? So again, we need to be running towards our dreams and not be focused on fear. Turn fear, what you turn fear into power. Failure, criticism, you turn that into like motivation. And there's a strategy and a power once you gain this knowledge. But we cannot give you this knowledge. That's the thing. As Napoleon Hill says, there is a price to pay for the knowledge. And you have to find the other side of the secret. You cannot do it without working. You have to work. Don't be distracted by criticism. Remember, the only taste of success some people have is when they take a bite out of you. So this is something that happens, and just be aware. Zig Ziglar is so true about that the 98% that don't have success, this is the only taste of success, is when they can bite it out of you. The ladder of success is never crowded at the top. Napoleon Hill says that. So, as you get up to the top, just know it becomes, less and less. I mean, people are casting rocks. My mentor, Mr. Wellhite, said, when people are casting rocks at you, in other words, criticizing you, just climb to the top of the pole and get out of their ability to reach you with the rocks. Just go for it. Climb up to the top. I tell all of my team elites, if you're going for it and you're getting a lot of criticism, just become 4-star platinum at the top, and the criticism ends. And you can see these top of the ladder people, right? They're amazing people, right? These are the top of the ladder. Dream big, never quit. Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. Winners are just losers who never quit. So, number 1, never quit. And number 2, never give up. I love this little poster I found of never giving up. Just focus on never giving up, even though quit is all around you. Just focus. I call it, there comes a day where you have to have faith in faith itself. You have to have faith in faith itself. You will be tested. You will be tested, trust me. And this chapter is all about the test. Persistence can change failure into extraordinary achievement, right? Famous failures. Albert Einstein. He wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teacher said he would never amount to much. Walt Disney, fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. Oprah Winfrey was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Michael Jordan, After being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in the room, and cried. Steve Jobs, at 30 years old, he was left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company he started, Apple. Right? The Beatles, rejected by Decca Records studio, who said, "We don't like their sound. They have no future in show business." Right? So, I mean, there's too many of these examples. Imagine all of those Japanese toy manufacturers. I remember there was a president. I won't tell you the name, but I was sitting in the meeting. Most of the presidents were pretty nice. I guess this guy had just come from a long trip. He had traveled back home. I was supposed to meet with his like general manager, and he said to the general manager, "Come, bring him into my office." He had I could tell he wasn't having a good day, and he was short, and so we came into his office. Lined up on one side was the general manager and his guys, and the president sitting right in front of me, and then my people were sitting on both sides of me. And as I presented the business, within the first 10 minutes, he said, "Are you trying to sell us yo-yos from America?" And he said the same words in Japanese. "We don't buy toys from America, we sell toys to America." And I said to him, this is a really big opportunity. This system works. And this karate yo-yo system may be the biggest thing you've ever done. And he looked at me and he laughed. He looked at me and he said, get this guy out of the room. My translator didn't even translate that to me because it was rude in Japanese words to say that. He stood up and all of the boys stood up on his side of the table. And I looked at my translator. I knew we were getting kicked out. And I'll tell you, we got out on the street, it was like 15 seconds later, we were out on the street. I was trying to dust off my translator because they didn't want to go anymore. They didn't want to do any more meetings. I said, just dust yourself off. We can do this. Let's go. Let's go to the next meeting. And, it was like such a tough meeting that day. And I remember we were in the Tokyo Toy Fair 1 year later. We had already sold like 10 million yo-yos, something like that. And I saw the president in the toy fair. And I looked at him. He looked at me, and I remember walking up to him. "Hi, Mr. Blank. I don't know if you remember me. I met with you 1 year ago. Thank you for that meeting to take the time to meet with me." I remember shaking his hand, and he looked at me, and I know there was a moment, like maybe a few seconds into it, that he realized who I was. And he had given, they had sold in wholesale probably about $500 million of yo-yos. It was the biggest boom ever of anything in Japan. And so it's just like sometimes it's just amazing. But the power of positive thinking is the ability to generate a feeling of certainty in yourself when nothing in the environment supports you. I want you guys to really look at that Tony Robbins quote. The power of positive thinking is the ability to generate a feeling of certainty in yourself when nothing in the environment supports you. And this is an ongoing journey, by the way. This is not something I'm teaching you. Trust me, I'm learning about this right now. anytime I think about ending world hunger, I'm like, I got to generate that certainty in myself. I sometimes put the names like Gandhi and Mother Teresa and Martin Luther King, all those pictures you saw, Abraham Lincoln, all on this row here, and I put Alan Nagao. I put my picture right there next to him. And I'll tell you, every time I do that, I'm like, I feel like a little boy again. I mean, like, I gotta build more confidence. And that's just the way it is. Because if I end world hunger, I'm sure Gandhi would have loved to end world hunger. I mean, Mother Teresa would have loved to do that. So, I mean, like, I gotta get stronger. If Alan Nagao has to do his self-confidence formula every day, do you have to do it? I challenge you with that thought. If Alan Nagao every day has to do his self-confidence formula, do you have to do it? And I hope the answer everybody's going to say is absolutely yes, because that's the only answer, really. And I've been at this 40 years, okay, of learning, and it's still there in front of me every day. So I'm not trying to teach you guys this. I'm trying to share maybe some of my experience, but I'm a learner. I'm learning with you guys this. There was a tape that Tony Robbins had. I listened to this tape much more than 500 times until it was so stretched out, it didn't even play anymore. This is in the days where we had cassette tapes in our car. And he said, success is, I want you to underline that word, success. Success is handling massive frustration. That means when you are very successful, you will have massive frustration. And I know that sounds opposite of what, you think it is, but it is true. It is absolutely true, handling massive frustration. And he says, well, the solution, turn frustration into fascination. Isn't it so interesting? Isn't it so interesting that these people think they are only going to sell to America? 10.5 million yo-yos later. Sakura, Mr. My friend, Massive rejection. Success is experiencing. I'm just going to use the word experiencing. Tony Robbins says handling, but I say experiencing massive rejection. Who has had a lot of success and a lot of massive rejection even after the success. I'll tell you, it means that when you feel massive rejection, you're like, oh, I'm having success. That's what you have to do. You have to turn that around in your mind. Success, like being successful, is massive financial pressure. And you go, no, I thought it was like being completely free. No, handling massive financial pressure. I mean, think about Patty Acosta, right? She's always so happy and everything, but she's handling massive financial pressure. She has, 10 properties. She has a lot of, balls in the air. She's working on, trying to give away most of her income, and buying homes for her parents and a second home because the first one will be completed in 3 years. I mean, there is massive financial pressure in that. Conquering your fear. Success is conquering your fear. In other words, you feel a lot of fear. Okay, I just don't want to make it in a nice way. It's not nice. You feel a lot of fear. And that's what success is. Turn fear into power. We walk across the fire for a reason, so people can feel what it feels like to go through their fears. We're going to be walking on fire with 750 people in Chile. Maybe more. I don't know. We might not be able to control the number of people that want to come. And overcoming complacency. In other words, setting new goals and new objectives. Don't sit on your butt. I'll tell you, one of my worst times in life was retiring at 39 years old. Because you gain so much more when you help people every day. There is so much to be gained by that process. Every person who wins at any undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat out. Get out of burn your ships. Go forward, go forward, go forward. And cut all sources of retreat away. So this is, to face fears and doubts and failures, and to back down is the way of a follower. To face fears, doubts, and failures and continue on stronger is the way of a leader. I see Maka looking at this book. I'll bring this book to you. It's a leather-bound book, ancient, wisdom in it. And I'll bring this down to Chile. It's quite heavy, but I'll bring it down for you guys. Part of the price you must pay for any knowledge is to discover it for yourself. And so just go for it. I mean, like, no kidding. Every failure brings with it an equivalent advantage. If one does not possess persistence, one does not achieve noteworthy success in any calling. Wherever men and women accumulate great riches, you must be sure they first acquired persistence. Every failure brings with it a seed of equivalent advantage. Think about my story. I couldn't run. I couldn't play basketball, baseball, football. Couldn't do many of those things. So I ended up, playing yo-yos. Think about that. That was a $30 million boon, right? And kites. I was really good at making kites because I had to make it to fly without a tail. And so, wow, it's amazing. Failure cannot cope with persistence. If you have nothing to lose, you can try everything. I love that. If you have nothing to lose, you can try everything. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Money grows on the tree of persistence. Japanese proverb. So I have a song that I use to empower my persistence. And this song is in Spanish. So you can just listen to it if you come out of the Spanish translation room. And it's going to be subtitled in English so our translators can kind of follow along the song. I also gave you a copy of it, translators, in the chat, so you could read it along the playing of it. And I think Jillian's going to play this song for us in Spanish. Huh? You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have the right to be here. And so, oftentimes when I'm feeling, out of my limits of persistence, this song really gets me back to where I got to go and stop running away from, criticism or, of fear, and take a next step. Take a next step. That's the key. When you're feeling really against the wall, just take the next step. And then that's how you grow and you gain so much. Our community provides the most incredible environment for people to have this kind of personal development training, but not only that, mentorship for years. And you can ask Grant Chapman, or you can ask any of Patty Acosta, 13 years of mentorship and development and mastermind. I mean, all of that, right? Or Javier and Laura, or all of the, I know so many of you for so many years. And that's what we offer. We offer mentorship for years. I mean, probably the most patient mentors you ever find in your life really are right here, right? And positive attitude, a positive place to be. Our environment, our community offers, amazing health, amazing abilities to get good nutrition and feel amazing. I feel 35. I'm 62 this year. I mean, like, wow. But I feel 35. And to look younger than your age, I don't feel I look 62. And I've been looking younger every day. I've been galvanic spa every day. I've been doing Lumi spa every day. I feel younger. And this year I'm going to be sexy and healthy. Hell, I'm going to lose my belly. I'm going to be amazing, right? This is the idea, to be better continuously. If you like that kind of environment, talk to the guys that invited you on and say, hey, how do I get working on this? Because I love this. This is something fun. I'm enjoying it. So, enjoy it with us. This environment allows us to give to the world. I mean, this really give. I mean, not just like, oh yeah, let's go help, one person or clean up the beach, and then the next week it's totally dirty again. No, this is like feed. I mean, we've fed 750 million eels. Amazing, right? If you think about our environment, what this community offers, the ability to give. I mean, if you really want to know the law of wealth, it's only two, right? I covered it already. Service, be of service, the service triangle. QQS, right? Quality, quantity, and service. The way that you the manner in which you give the service. And number two, give away what you want. The law of retribution. As you sow, so shall you reap. There's only two laws of wealth. So when you think about, is it complex to be wealthy? Not really. It's not complex, but it takes this persistence and getting through the wall and the art of creating a mastermind. And I would say, of all of the philosophy that I teach, mastermind I teach every time, and mastermind is the least used. And it's one of the most powerful. So I'm going to cover this mastermind now. Where am I? Oops, I got to share screen again. So we're going to open this with a video from Napoleon Hill himself. And this is a video on the mastermind. And translators, do your best to keep up with the video if you can. But this is from Napoleon Hill. Mastermind. That's okay, Julian. Just let it run. It's fine.
We come now to the second of the 17 principles which lead to the master key with which you may open the door to the attainment of your definite major purpose in life. This principle of success is called the mastermind principle. I want you to understand the nature of the mastermind principle because you must use it before you can take possession of the master key. An understandable definition of the mastermind is this. It consists of two or more people who work in perfect harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose. Now, here are some interesting facts about the mastermind which give you an idea of how important it is and how necessary that you embrace this principle and make use of it in attaining success in your chosen occupation. First of all, it is the principle through which you may borrow and use the education, the experience, the influence, and perhaps the capital of other people in carrying out your own plans in life. It is the principle through which you can accomplish in 1 year more than you could accomplish without it in a lifetime if you depended entirely upon your own efforts for success. And I have heard well-informed Bible students say that the first known application of the mastermind was that which existed between the Nazarene and his 12 disciples. Of one fact I am absolutely sure. When you form a true mastermind alliance with others and work with them in a spirit of perfect harmony, you can draw freely upon the spiritual forces within you in carrying out your plans and desires. I also know that the mastermind principle can give you absolute protection against failure, provided always that your purpose in using this principle is beneficial to all whom you influence. In my research while organizing the science of success, I had the collaboration of practically every outstanding successful man this country has produced during the past 50 years. And I can tell you definitely that their success was due in the main to their knowledge and application of the mastermind principle. I wish also to call your attention to the fact that our great American way of life and our unmatchable system of free enterprise have been built upon the mastermind principle. The greatest document ever conceived by the mind of man is a perfect example of the mastermind principle in action. It is the Declaration of Independence and the best evidence of the importance of maintaining perfect harmony in a mastermind alliance may be found in the fact that the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence knew full well that it might turn out to be either a license of freedom for all mankind or a death warrant which would cause each of the signers to be hanged. Now let us see how the mastermind principle has brought success to people whom we all know. First, consider when Kate Smith began her career as a singer. She had difficulty in earning enough from her singing to pay her living expenses. And she perhaps never would have made her singing pay if she had not discovered and applied the mastermind principle, which gave her access to the master key to success when she formed the mastermind alliance with Ted Collins. And according to a report I saw in Reader's Digest, Kate Smith has earned upwards of $30 million, and she is still in the upper brackets of income. Two, I remember when Edgar Bergen and that cute little block of wood known as Charlie McCarthy used to play anywhere they could get an engagement. And I rather suspect that often all they got for their services was a meal. But Edgar Bergen is a smart man in the field of entertainment. So he formed a mastermind alliance which introduced him and Charlie to millions of people by radio and television. And I suspect he is not concerned about money any longer. And you may be surprised when I tell you that the great Ford industrial empire started with the formation of a mastermind alliance between Henry Ford and his wife. At the beginning of his career, Henry Ford was shy and lacking in self-confidence.
Imagine that, right? I love listening to, these tapes and things of the original of Napoleon Hill as he would share his ideas, and you can find that online and study even more. But lots of the studies that my mentor did came from not only Napoleon Hill, which was the beginning of his study, but just like for myself, all of the study in between, like my 40 years. And my mentor is like 60 or 80 years. Can you imagine that? So this is like 120 years of long-term study that we're sharing with you. It's not just Napoleon Hill's things, and it's not just my mentor's things, but it's my things too that I've discovered along the way as we kind of work with this. But Napoleon Hill's came from Andrew Carnegie, which is like one of the richest men in the world ever. So I just want to say a few things about Mastermind. A mastermind is a friendly alliance with one or more persons who encourage one to follow through with both plans and purpose. Mastermind groups have been around for a long time, but the phrase mastermind group was first coined by Napoleon Hill. Analyze the record of any person who has accumulated great fortune, and many of those who have accumulated modest fortunes, and you'll find that they have either consciously or unconsciously employed the mastermind principle. So even when we're just working together and having fun, we're employing the mastermind principle. It happens, it's a natural process. But when you start becoming deliberate about it, especially for the use of making your definite purpose in life happen, that's when you become a deliberate creator of your future. That's really what we're after in this. The power of mastermind, to make money. So what are the benefits of a mastermind group? The mastermind group are established to help create an environment that nurtures and supports growth. Most great people have achieved their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. So my story was about that one step beyond the greatest failure. So we're going to be using the mastermind for a lot of things, for solutions, for network, for brainstorming. There's a lot of uses for the mastermind. But what I want to talk about is that there's like accumulated experience, right? Which is this idea of brainstorming. But we want to actually tap into the spiritual component of mastermind, which is tapping into the infinite intelligence. So if you come to our camps, you will actually get to practice this, because after 3 days, we're ready to actually connect to the infinite intelligence as we are broadcasting our mastermind. But it gives you a lot more ability when you're in a mastermind, because you have different gender, different age, different religion, different thinking styles, perspectives, nationalities, ethnicities, language, race, culture, all of these physical abilities. There's people with different skills that they love to do things in a different way. There's different culture, so like recently I've been enjoying being together with Chung-Hil Choi from Korea. And that's a different culture, very different than the Latin culture, very different. And, I want these Latins to come with me to Korea, the team elites to come with me to Korea to experience a different culture, because it's a different viewpoint and a different mastermind. And so how many members should be in your mastermind group? I usually say 3 to 6. I have had masterminds of over 8, And it just takes huge amounts of control and time to accomplish your mastermind meetings, and those can go on for 4 or 5 hours. I think that's too much. So you really want to stay a bit limited. I think is better. Although Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie had 50 in his mastermind, I'm sure he did not meet with all of them at once. So we have this meeting once a week, is the way I like to do it. Although, sometimes I'm just meeting a few times a month, and we get really prepared for it. A mastermind group is simply a meeting of highly motivated folks who share a common goal and are looking to encourage and help each other to improve. So my first mastermind group, really, I was the only one married, and they wanted to learn more about relationships. So these other men were in that group to kind of learn, and they all ended up getting married, and they all ended up having kids. And we ended up 16 years with that mastermind. So how do you start? Well, you look for people that are growing. I think that's number one. Look for people that are willing to be 100% with themselves, and to be able to, a mastermind group is a small group of like-minded people who meet for mutual brainstorming and accountability sessions. Our meetings were about 2 hours, and we had to prioritize the meeting time as being the most important thing. So we actually rescheduled, like anniversaries, birthday parties. We actually rescheduled around the mastermind meeting. It became the most important meeting we did every week. And it has to be sacred, almost like how people go to church on Sunday. It has to be like that, really strict, or else it falls apart very, very quickly. The basis for having an environment of trust, support, and dedication to excellence, being able to count on each other for support and reliability. Additional work is produced when one fails to keep their commitments to be accountable. Accountable and committed people keep workloads, frustration down, and teamwork positive and up. One of the things that happened for me during our mastermind with Patty, for example, if you call on a mastermind partner, they have to come. That's like one of the things. I remember being at Aruna Key's meditation center in Oregon, and I just knew something was going to happen tomorrow morning. I had this sense something's going to happen tomorrow morning, and I'm going to need some help. I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh my God, something big's going to happen to me. And I remember calling Patty Acosta saying, Patty, I need you here. She goes, where are you? I said, in Oregon. She goes, where in Oregon? I didn't actually know. So I was like, I don't know where the nearest airport is. I don't know, but I'm here in Oregon, and I need you to be here tomorrow morning. And she dropped everything, got on a flight, figured out the airport, and was in Oregon. She was in Colombia, so that's a pretty far flight to fly overnight, but she was in Oregon the next morning. And as I was sitting in the front row, she slipped into the back of the seminar room, and it was, one of the psychic, I guess, meditation leaders was speaking in the front of the room. And she said, she was going to introduce me, and she said, I want to introduce you to the man who is going to end world hunger. And she said, on my, over 30 years of accurately predicting the future, this is the man who's going to end world hunger and I really would like you guys to all meet him. And when she said that, I got to tell you, it was like somebody screwed sheet metal screws from the bottom of the chair up my butt. I was absolutely glued to my chair. My head was nothing but no. Oh my God, I wasn't ready for this at all. And I was, what did she just say? My brain just was exploding like, no. And I was just 6 months to retiring from New Skin at that time. I was 6 months away. I had already hit my goal, my 6-digit thing and all of that, per month. I was ready to retire. And I couldn't even speak. I was speechless. I was sitting in the chair, stuck, started to sweat, was rolling down my face. Patty was in the back of the room. She realized what had happened, and she ran to the front of the room, came right in front of me, trying to pull me off my chair. And I'm going, did you hear? Did you hear what she just said? Like, no. Patty's like, come on, stand up, Alan, stand up. It doesn't matter what she said. Doesn't matter, just stand up and talk to these people. There's all of these people on the internet waiting for me to speak. There's this crowd of people in the kind of like hall, the kind of church place we were in. And I'm like, oh my God, that was finally Patty got me off my chair. And that night, I'll tell you, I had the most unsettling sleep. I was like, all night, I can just remember my neck just going back and forth. No. Like, it's too big. I don't want that. And it was just like inside of me was not ready. But in a way, I started to take little bites out of that. That was years ago. I mean, I had to take little small bites. I said, okay, let's work on 10% of world hunger. Let's work on like just a little bite of it. Let's see what I can do, what I could do to dream up this crazy goal. And if I can do 10%, I sold them. My goal was €1 million. I sold 10.5 million, right? So maybe I'll just accidentally, make this thing happen. And I just started that process. But that's Mastermind. Mastermind is there when you need them. And if you call on them, they got to come. I remember telling that to Karen Johnson when we Mastermind to open LA. And no kidding, she was there every time I needed her. It was amazing. So how to create your ultimate mastermind team? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Okay, get that clear. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So start to open up your mind. What would be possible if the people around you refuse to let you fail? What would be possible if the people around you refuse to let you fail? What could you accomplish in life? What would you be willing to strive for? I mean, I always say set crazy goals, but I mean, no kidding, like go for it. How to structure a mastermind meeting. So we have an exact structure. Pick the ground rules. This is really important. Will there be a consequence for so many missed meetings? Will there, how do you run it? What is the time frame? Are we going to have food? Where do we need a quiet place? Do we need desks? All of those things. Try to set up all the parameters you can and set up these ground rules, because this is going to be important. Like, it has to be a priority in your life to do mastermind. So no matter, sometimes Patty and I are working really hard and we got things going on, but, I'll get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and sit down and we'll have a meeting from 6 to 8, even though we went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, just so that we can get this done. It's really critical. Why your mastermind needs a contract and what should it include. So these are, like this contract you have with each other. And you got to be really clear, like, well, I guess you wouldn't say mastermind, but I had a team of kite flyers, and you remember I wrote the book on kite flying, and people said, wow, it was a book on, commitment. It was a book because you got to get that commitment clear. And we always had a commitment for 1 year with our kite flying team. And if somebody was going to leave next year, they had to replace themselves before they left. So it's like little things like that. Just have a contract. The mastermind principle consists of an alliance of two or more minds working in perfect harmony for the attainment of a common objective. No two minds ever come together without a third invisible force. When two of you are together, so am I. Maybe the Bible says it, something like that, which may be likened to the third mind. When a group of individual minds are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created through that alliance becomes available to every individual in the group. No man can become a permanent success without taking others along with him. So I know the translators have this in writing, so you guys can read alongside of me, but this is what we would do. So at the beginning of a mastermind meeting, we'd all get together. Showing up on time was critical. One of the things we said as a ground rule is that we had to show up before or at least on time of the mastermind. Nobody could show up late. And we did levy I think it was a $10 fine. It was a lot of money back then for being late. So we had these rules. And then we decided in our mastermind that we could eat, but we would start the mastermind meeting and then we would have some very simple food to eat. So it wasn't all about eating, it was about doing the mastermind meeting. And then we begin every mastermind meeting by reading these mastermind principles. I release, and we would all say it together, like it was harmony when we were doing it. I release myself to the mastermind because I am strong when I have others to help me. And then we would pause and then we would say, I believe the combined intelligence of the mastermind creates a wisdom far beyond my own. I understand that I will more easily create positive results in my life when I am open to looking at myself, my problems and opportunities from another's point of view. I decide to release my total desire totally in trust to the mastermind. I am open to accepting new possibilities. I forgive myself for my mistakes I have made. I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past, so I can move into the future with a clean slate. I ask the mastermind to hear what I really want, my goals, my dreams, and my desires. And I hear my mastermind partners supporting me in my fulfillment. I accept. I know, relax, and accept, believing that the working power of the mastermind will respond to my every need. I am graceful, knowing this is so. And then we say dedication and covenant. I now have a covenant in which it is agreed that the mastermind shall supply me with an abundance of all things necessary to live a success-filled and happy life. I dedicate myself to be of maximum service to the world and my fellow human being, to live in a manner that will set the highest examples for others to follow, and to remain an open channel of God's will. I go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. And we would always say, thank you, God, for it is done. So this is the beginning process of a mastermind meeting, and then we would be into the mastermind meeting. So one person would create the hot seat. And in the hot seat, they would say, well, this week, so let me go backwards a little bit here. So the first half of a mastermind meeting, which we're not going to do because we did not meet last week. The first thing in the mastermind, we would just share things that we had set goals of for this week. For example, I would probably share, well, my goal mastermind last week was to have a Zoom of 1,000 people, and we did achieve that. In fact, I think at our max, we're at maybe 1,600 people, and many people are viewing our Facebook site after the event, so it's going very well for this week. That was one of my goals. And the second goal is I wanted to, really just bear down and focus on this specific seminar. I think I did an excellent job at, really just putting all of my attention on it and not letting anything else get in my way. And I also wanted to spend some time with Rose and take her out on dates. And I've had, dinners, movies, and everything during this week. So it was a great week. So I would share that with the team. And maybe there were weeks where things were not as good. Things didn't work out. So I would share those things too. And I'd ask, Mastermind, can you see anything I can do better? Or, how could I, be more detailed oriented or whatever? And they will give me input. Each of them will give me input. So that's the first half of the mastermind meeting. Is the accumulated experience of everybody sharing what they knew so to help us. So we had people in our mastermind that had children. Some people didn't have children yet. So, sometimes when there was a new child being born, for example, we could all share and help each other a little bit. Like that's, for example, how things kind of work. We had women in the mastermind, we had men. So there were different viewpoints because of gender. So that's how you use the accumulated experience of everybody. I had a marketing background. We had one of the guys was an engineer, one was a salesman, and one of them was, like a science major. So we had different viewpoints and different feelings as we went through our mastermind meetings. But the next part, so I'm going to show you how it works. We're going to bring people up to speak. So right now I'm going to be in the hot seat. Maka, can you help us with this, and Grant? And I think Rose is on, and maybe Javier. I don't know. Normally the group is 5, so we don't have to do all of us. But anyway, so can we get highlighted? I'll stop my share, Jillian. So if we could get highlighted so that we could, can we get us all on the highlight?
Yeah.
Okay, there's Maka. Can we get Javier? We got to keep Laura in her meeting room. There's Rose. Can we get one more on the highlight? Or yep, oh there's 5. Okay. So this is what you guys are gonna look like. You guys are gonna look like all 5 online. Tell you the truth, we met basically in person. I mean, I know we can do everything on Zoom nowadays, but really I still prefer doing it live, and probably Patty and I always do ours live too. I mean, we do tend to do ours live. There's a lot of communication in body language. And I know that you can still see body language in Zoom, but there's still more. There's still more when you're there up close and personal. And so that's why we like doing it live. We did do Javier and Laura and I, we were there doing pandemic Zoom mastermind, right? But it's, I think, even more powerful when you're live. I don't know. I just think so. So I'll be in the hot seat, and I'm just gonna say, okay, mastermind. My goals for this week, well, I plan to go to Provo, Utah for Nathan's funeral on Monday, so I'm gonna leave on Sunday. So, well, we're gonna have Dean Wynn do the leaders meeting. We're gonna have Patty Acosta do kind of some of the final things, which includes the image of the dream board. So I'm hoping this will work out really good and that I can make it. What I'd like the mastermind to see is that I can make it to Utah in time to cover the last, second to the last chapters, the brain and the subconscious mind or intuition. But anyway, get me there on time and make that event really smooth. But if I'm not there on time, I know baby's Rose is going to take care of me and complete that final topic. So just want it to be a really good event with Dean doing as much of his sharing as possible. I also want to be able to work in Provo with corporate for new packages for our slow run, our 1,000-point package and our small ADR packages for slow run around the world. I need it for Vietnam. I need it for Chile, Colombia, Peru, Mexico. And I would like to really get in alignment with the company for our compensation plan so we can really blow this thing up this year. And finally, I want to be able to come home a little early to be with my baby Rose before we head up for some amazing trips in Korea and have a beautiful time in Korea with baby Rose. So then what you say is the mastermind, well, Rose can go first or Javier. The mastermind has heard you, Alan, and we see you. And so this is the second half of the mastermind meeting, okay? And they're going to, what we want to do is stay in a state of almost meditation, in that what you want to do is any pictures that come to your mind, any embellishments that you can see that will make the picture even clearer for me, or maybe even add something to it, you'll be adding those things to the what you say.
Javier, you want to go first?
I don't know if you listen to me because I'm in the Spanish room. No.
Yes,
no.
we can hear you.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
you can listen to me? Perfect.
Sí.
Okay, Alan, your mastermind has heard you, and what I'm watching, what I can see is that you're gonna have an excellent flight to Provo, Utah. And I think it's gonna be a very, very special event. I mean, the meaning of the event is much more. It has nothing to do with the business, it has to do with love, with the people. And I know that when you get into that area, when you get into the company, I see that everyone is going to turn around. They're going to look at Alan and they're going to say, hey, Alan is here to say goodbye to Nathan because he loved a lot Nathan, and people are going to recognize you, and they're going to see how huge person you are. So it's going to be an incredible event. The company will respect that, and also the company will sit down with you and they're going to say, okay, Alan, what do you want? What are you looking for? They will give you these incredible kits. I know they're going to be very, very good, very good. And because of that, your business is going to grow like per 10. You know, they're working on that, and you're working 10 times your business, not only in Latin America, but also in Vietnam, and also in Korea, and also this area. and you're gonna come back very, very happy to your home, your new home in Canada with Rose. Rose is gonna be waiting for you. You're gonna spend wonderful time. You will have an incredible dinner together. You will spend everything that happened in your visit to Provo, to Utah. You will have a very, very nice conversation, the two of you, having a nice drink with a glass of wine. You will enjoy, and you will prepare that trip to Korea, where you're gonna be the #1 star. So you're gonna be prepared for that. I can see everyone, thousands of people will be yelling and clapping their hands and saying, wow, I wanna be like Alan Nagao. And also because of this, they're gonna help you. Everyone over there is gonna help you with your wish and your dream, which is establish a very big amount of Vitamil in the new factory in Vietnam. And it's going to be incredible, the impact that you're going to have there. This is what your mastermind says for you.
Yay. Thank you, Mastermind.
Alan, the mastermind has heard you, and I see you really taking a break on the flight to Provo, to Salt Lake, to see one of your biggest mentor, Nathan Ricks, to pay your respect and tribute to him. And I see you arriving on time so that you can get on the seminar on Sunday and really finish the chapters for the brain and the sixth sense and all of that you want to teach us. And I see us having an amazing learning session with Dean as one of your top leader in your organization, the #1, the one and only who has, made his 4-star platinum team elite 4 times in a row. And I know all of us can learn so much from him, as well as from Patty, her incredible example of making dreams come true. And to have you on after Dean and Patty to really finish the seminar of a really big success on Sunday night. And I also see you at the Nathan's funeral and reconnecting with all the top leaders who are flying in for his funeral, and also mastermind with them. And there's a really special energy in the room because Nathan is the #1 in our industry, the #1 in our business. He is the legend and the idol for all of us and the mentor of mentors. And I feel that his spirit is among all of us who are not there, but he's with us and continue to inspire us. And I feel that special energy, and I feel that you sitting there getting that inspiration and having an incredible meeting with corporate, with Don Lovelace, with Justin, and really working with Steve Hatchett and all of those executives on packages that's going to really impact our business and help us do much better and grow much bigger in this year, 2023, not only packages for slow run for the Vietnamese team, but also packages that really will help us in Latin America. And packages such as I can see, packages for Tigre, some of the social seller packages that we can really improve, and many other initiatives. I see you and Steve working together with Don to really work on what would benefit Latin America and what would help Latin America grow exponentially like we did in 2020. And so I see some really productive meetings and with some really amazing results for our regions, and as well as for Vietnam, who's going to launch Slow Run and could definitely use some really effective packages for the Slow Run to combine with the Slow Run. And finally, I see you maybe come home one day early on Sunday, and I just see us having a really relaxed night because it's been a long week, a lot of activities, and with the kickoff in Provo, a lot of energy. So I see us kind of lay back, relax, having a quiet dinner, and really kind of discharge or download and the results that you've created this week and how we can implement that into our regions. So that's what I see for this coming week.
Thank you, Mastermind, my love.
And go?
Yep.
Okay. Dear Alan, your mastermind has heard you. This is going to be a very special week for you. You will go to Nathan's funeral, and it will become a very, very special journey for you, because in that space you remembered all the good things that you shared with Nathan. You can revive again all the nice memories, all the knowledge that you have from him, all the people that you helped during a lot of time. So your heart feels so grateful and so in peace. And when you see around, you can see a lot of people with a lot of love, full of love and energy, together giving love to someone who helps the world a lot, and someone you had the honor to work with. So you end that funeral and you go with a very full heart, a lot of grateful. And then you go to the special event, and you can feel a very good, you feel so loved from Patty and Dean. They give you a huge hug to you. They give you so much love, and then suddenly the three start to work very, very hard, as you well know how to work. So the event goes perfectly with a lot of people full of energy, learning a lot. Your mind it's full of wisdom. The people can even imagine how much are they learning. The energy is full. So you end that event with a huge spirit and with the knowledge and with the certainty that you are making a good job. So you transform the energy from Nathan's funeral in a good energy to start all over again and to do the work as Nathan loved, with action. Then you have some meetings with the corporates, and suddenly they feel so comprensivos. They understand you a lot. You don't know why or how, but they start understanding all your ideas, all our necessities, not just in Latin America, even in Asia. And they find your ideas so cool, and they're starting to put more that you want in those ideas. You create great kits for slow run, and suddenly slow run becomes a huge movement, not only in Asia, as they know to do it, even in Vietnam, and then in South America. Colombia, it's exploding with slow run subscription, etc. And suddenly all your organization is fit, sexy, and very happy with the results of not only their bodies, even with the business. And then with the corporate, you are so aligned with the compensation plan, with the news for the next year, and you end those meetings with full of love, commitments, and the commitment of being very communicative to you for the next steps, and the next year will be incredible. All the seed that you put here in the beginning of the year with this nice seminar explodes since now, and we have the best year in the world, because leaders are full of energy, full of love, and full of certainty that we are going to make it anyway. And then you get home on time. Rose is waiting you with a nice dinner, very sexy clothes, and you enjoyed her so much because you give her a very huge hug. You start talking about the feelings that you had in the trip, in Nathan's funeral, and then with the success with the corporates, and then and the event. And then you're starting to pack and make it everything okay to go to Korea. And you have the greatest trip to Korea with your baby Rose on board, as you like. And Rose loves airplanes, so you are so in love in that airplane, and you will have the greatest tour in Korea. Your mastermind has top. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mastermind.
Aloha, Alan. Your mastermind heard you, and I see you as you're leaving Canada, flying into Utah, getting your rental car. Always, they have an upgrade for you, so it's very comfortable and luxurious as always. And I see you getting there on time with ease, very relaxed. And I see everyone fellowshipping at Nathan's funeral, but also really connecting with each other's. And, you know, as we say, kind of like the old birds all getting together and brainstorming and connecting and masterminding of how to make, you know, Nu Skin and our organizations the best in the future coming up, and beautiful ideas that you can take to corporate. And I see you talking to corporate and helping, you know, to talk about the point system and some of the changes that has happened. And, you know, for some reason, I just see them, you know, aligning with us and you, and really giving us great info and actually maybe some secrets that they plan on coming up, and, you know, aligning with you with the slow run and packages as they had in previous years, and just really committing to being of service to the distributors and growing all the countries, including US and Korea and Latin America. Also, I see you arriving at your hotel in perfect timing to jump in the shower, you know, get a quick shave and get on the Zoom, just in perfect timing with us to wrap it up. I see Dean giving a wonderful, beautiful talk on leadership, which he is an absolute master in that. Patty with the dream boards, which she's also a master at dream boards and, you know, getting her dreams. And I see her and Dean just sharing their heart with us, and, you know, us really just grasping it and copying them in their leadership and their dream abilities. I also see, you know, you heading back home to see Rose and having a beautiful dinner, a healthy, green, beautiful dinner, getting you fit and sexy like you want, and just having the best, you know, fresh vegetables and good food before you head off to Korea and have some more adventures. And I just see you guys really just fellowshipping and spending some time and relaxing together before, you know, you start to really move forward while you're in Korea and launching your other projects. And last, I really see also too having some great new investments and really building other aspects of life that you wanted to do outside of Nu Skin, you know, planning for your investments, maybe other houses, and just really taking on and juggling more with ease and with excitement and fun. The mastermind has heard you.
Yay. So you guys get to see how a mastermind meeting works. You could see the coloring of this, of the mastermind, you know, alliance. So they're coloring my picture, painting it more and more clear and better for me, and also their energy. So it's like batteries, you know, it's more voltage when you have 5 people working together. And that's what we are looking to do with all of you. Make sure you guys work together with your mastermind alliance. If you don't have a group yet, make one, it's fine. Just get some people together and do it together. So with that, anyway, I'm going to just a few more slides just for finishing. Hope everybody liked that example, and it's very important that you guys actually accomplish this in your homework, okay? The mastermind principle: 2 or more people actively engaged in the pursuit of definite purpose with a positive mental attitude constitutes unbeatable force, as Napoleon Hill states. So I want to show you something really to kind of end our night tonight with a little power. So, yesterday, I don't know, I just felt so analytical. I was going crazy at the end. And I said, we gotta have more fun with these events. And so here's a example of teamwork here. And we're gonna show you a couple examples of teamwork with this beautiful haka from New Zealand, actually, the Maori. I hope, you know what, one day we got to do this all together and you guys are all in your home doing this. That would be so much fun. All of your family members looking at you like, what the hell's going on? Okay, we have another video for you guys. We have a couple for tonight's ending. That was a flash mob. That was a flash mob version of that.
What
think we have
does
one more.
haka really mean? What does haka really mean? What does it represent?
It's how you get it's a dance that Polynesians use to get their energy up before war, really, but it's actually meant to be so strong that you don't have to go to war. But it's what I really want you guys to take it is the energy. I want you guys to take the energy. We're going into this 2023 New Year's with this energy, with this spirit, with this teamwork, with everything together. And I want you guys to enjoy. I always say crazy people, crazy income. Bah, bah. Let's go for it. Like go all out crazy. We have one last one. I think if Jillian has her cell phone on that she's going to share from. I don't know if the last one worked. She had a hard time getting it sharing, but we'll see.
Umatira,
Hey, it's another night. We're ready for rock and roll. Well, tomorrow, I mean, your homework obviously tonight is to do your mastermind meeting. So please get that done tomorrow morning. Remember to get your miracle morning first started. And then if you don't want to do top 5 in group, that's fine. Just do your statement, self-confidence formula, and then do your mastermind meeting. It takes about an hour, 45 minutes to do mastermind. I don't want to take too much of your time tomorrow, so you can do that. Any comments on the Haka? Crazy people, crazy income, okay? Let's go for it. Like, bah! You see their eyes? It's like amazing, right? We should take a picture with all of our tongues hanging out. Let's take a picture with all of our tongues hanging out. Ready, guys? Ready? Jillian, can you snap a picture for us? Ready? We got to tattoo our tongue. All right. Well, anyway, everybody, let's have a great, great evening. And let's rock and roll tomorrow. We have crazy, crazy coming. It's going to be a lot of fun as we get really into the super conscious mind tomorrow. Okay, we're going to do some crazy things to understand how powerful this incredible genie is, this incredible computer. Okay, so with that, anyway, we will see you. Pre-read the chapters and we'll see you guys.
Thanks, buddy. Aloha, gang.
Gracias.
Alan, thank you. Aloha.
Aloha, gracias
Hija, la vine a buscar. Hola, ¿cómo estáis?
Ay, por favor.
I love you, Alan.
Hey, everybody, aloha. One more time, Jillian, for us. Aloha.
Aloha, Emi.
Aloha, Danilo.
Sacando la lengua. Aloha. Emi, te amo. Love you.
Oye, qué lindo, todos los que están ahí todavía.
Calla.
Aloha. Ah, quedamos 174. Aloha. 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 Bye.